everyone, my name is Yolanda. I'm a dive instructor and environmental social scientist, and today I wanted to talk to you about something that I don't believe is talked about enough, and that is climate action for ocean conservation. So often when people think ocean conservation, the first things that come to mind and the things that are often promoted to us are things like less plastic use, sustainable fishing, and wildlife conservation. Things like climate change often get left out of the picture, despite climate change being one of the biggest threats to the ocean. What I want to talk about today is why that is and why it's important that we start making climate action and ocean conservation almost synonymous, and how can we start doing that. So our climate is controlled by two things, the atmosphere and the ocean. Both of those things, they work together to keep our climate stable. In other words, they work to keep it a place that's nice for us to live. What's happening now is that our behavior is putting a lot of greenhouse gas into the air. Greenhouse gases like to absorb heat. The more heat the atmosphere absorbs, the more it loses its ability to keep our climate stable. It's losing its ability to control normal weather patterns. That means more extreme weather events like fires, floods, storms, also hotter summers, colder winters. And the trouble is that if we don't keep it in check now, those conditions might get worse and worse and worse. The ocean plays a huge role in climate change. It is the climate change hero. To try and balance what's happening up in the atmosphere, what the ocean does is it absorbs as much of the heat and as many of those greenhouse gases as it can, which is good news because it does lessen the effect of those gases in the atmosphere, but it means a whole new world of trouble for the ocean. Not only is it heating up our oceans and making them more acidic, but those changes in the ocean are making other problems so much worse. It'll make the effects of plastic pollution worse, land pollution, overfishing. And so the problem is then, if we don't address climate change as well as all of those other things, the things we are doing now may not be as impactful as we would like them to be. So for the longest time, the ocean was seen as this big, vast, mysterious and deep thing. You could pour things into it and they would disappear forever. Even for things like plastic pollution, it wasn't until we started seeing things floating on the surface and washing up in our beaches that we knew it was a problem. This is the problem for climate change. It's invisible. Its impacts are invisible and often far away. The only time we really see climate change being talked about in ocean conservation is when the coral bleaches. That's when we can see something happening. But the problem is, by the time we see it, it's too late. So we need to change that and get climate action, make it become a normal part of ocean conservation so we don't have to see those things happen. So this is why I wanted to start the conversation with you guys. A community of passionate ocean advocates who really understand and appreciate what the ocean has to offer. You guys have been able to successfully champion plastic-free movement and choosing more reef-safe and sustainable ocean-friendly solutions. I think there's a really big window of opportunity here for you guys to start championing climate action loud and proud as part of the ocean conservation movement. The big question, what can you do? Well, one of the biggest reasons people don't take climate action is actually not because they don't know or don't care. It's because they don't believe that one person can have enough influence to change something that big. That is the first thing we need to work on changing. We need to throw that idea completely out the window and start getting people understanding and believing that your individual actions matter. The best things that I think you can do to start realizing your impact on the planet is calculating your ecological footprint. It's really simple to do. It's an online calculator. You can just Google it. And essentially it is a survey that asks you a bunch of questions about your lifestyle, your energy use, your daily habits, and your diet, and that kind of thing. And what it does is it comes up and shows you how those actions impact the planet. Now there's lots of calculators out there and they're not 100% accurate, but they're a really good starting point to start seeing how those actions do have effects. Besides calculating your carbon or ecological footprint, there are so many things you could do, from things around your house to using your air conditioner or heater a little less, to changing your light bulbs to energy efficient ones, to travel. Do I have to drive today? If I'm traveling, do I have to fly this many times, or can I make it one flight? From things to diet, eating more plant-based meals. They say if everyone ate 2 to 3 plant-based meals per week, we could be well on our way to reaching our emissions reductions targets. But the point of this is that what we need to start doing is making those actions not climate actions, but ocean conservation actions. You know, we need to take our own shopping bags and drive a little less. We need to choose sustainable seafood and maybe eat a little less red meat and dairy. We can advocate for marine parks while also advocating for renewable energies. Those things need to go together. Now I wanted to open up the conversation to you guys. You know, is ocean climate action something you've thought about before? Would you like to know more about it? Do you have any experiences, tips, or stories you'd like to share? Just to start this conversation rolling. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, any questions, and just to get started.